Hello. Welcome back to the She Is Angel Mills YouTube channel. I'm Angel. I am the creator of Angel Mills Brand Strategy, where I work with mission-driven small businesses, helping them to go strong brands through strategic services, education, and coaching. Today, I'm going to talk about my experience with a platform called Peerspace. If you watched one of my earlier videos, discussing why I quit my 9-to-5 job, then you know that I did that. And so there's a number of different things that I've been working on since I did that, including my business and a few other side hustles. And one of them has been Peerspace. So I promised you that I would come back and I would talk a little bit about some of the things I've been doing. So Peerspace is one of them. And so I'm going to talk about the platform today. First of all, I want to talk about what Peerspace is. Some people may have never heard about it. Depending on the city that you live in, it may or may not be as popular. The best way I would describe the website is that it's very similar to Airbnb, where you are renting out your home or a studio. Well, I guess that's what makes it a little different. For one, is that you could rent out, in addition to renting out your home, you can rent out a studio space, an office space, a commercial space. And it's typically people who are creatives will rent out your space for a certain number of hours for things like photo shoots. People can rent out your space for meetings. And something that differentiates it a little bit from Airbnb is it's not overnight. So these bookings may last 4 hours, 8 hours, but they're during the day. And yeah, they're during the day. People can pick the space. Very similar to Airbnb in the sense that you're communicating through the platform. You can message people. Of course, you can create a profile for yourself as an individual or for your business. Or I think even with a business, you have to have like a personal profile. And then you list pictures of your space. You add a description of your space, what you have, what types of events and things people can host in your space, and you can list it. So I've had a listing for maybe, I would say 6 to 8 weeks now, and I basically took all the pictures on my phone of my home. So I'm actually renting out my home on this space, or excuse me, on Peerspace. So I just used my cell phone. I took the best pictures I could, trying to use a lot of natural light. I watched a lot of YouTube videos, and I can post down below some of the YouTube videos that I was particularly inspired by that have a lot of great tips on how to take pictures of interior spaces. If you can, if you're interested in listing your space on the site, get a professional photographer to take pictures for you, because then you know they're going to be great. I decided to take them myself. So I took them on my phone. I edited them. I think I use Photoshop. So I use Adobe Photoshop to edit them, or I may have used Lightroom. I use either Lightroom or Photoshop, or maybe a combination of both, probably both, to edit the photos. And I listed my space. So it basically took about 2 or 3 days to get my profile up and running. And so the first step was, of course, creating the personal profile. And then I was able to go into the site and begin to build my profile for my space, my listing, if you will. So I first took like a whole Saturday and just took pictures, cleaned everything up, tried to, make the space look appealing, try to take pictures from different angles, and then spent some time editing those photos. And then I built out my profile. I looked at profiles of other spaces that were doing well on the site and tried to kind of model my description after them. So I tried to come up with a really fun title for the name of my space. That's something that Peerspace recommends you to do. And in your title, you want it to be very descriptive. So you want fun, descriptive words like vibrant and vintage and bohemian, and just really vibrant words, if you will. In the description, of course, you're being detailed. You're including what people get access to, if they get access to Wi-Fi, if they get access to dishes, if they get access to a projector, if they have access to any sort of supplies or equipment, those are all things you can mention. You can also list, of course, your price, your hourly rate for your space, and then you can also do add-ons. So if you want to charge people an additional price to get additional chairs or to get access to other aspects of the home for a certain rate, then you can add that in as well. So I think I took my pictures on a Saturday, I edited them, put my profile up probably that next day on Sunday, and I was actually really surprised because I would say within an hour or two of kind of submitting my profile, because of course they don't let you just put it up right away, you have to submit it, they have to review it. I received like some feedback, and the feedback was kind of giving me some, I guess, corrections, which I'm trying to remember what the corrections were that they gave me. I think my pictures were fine. I think they wanted me to do like an additional photo of something, and they wanted me to show in the photos how the space could be set up for different things. So in the photos, like a tip that you can do, for example, if you want to allow people to rent out your space for photography, you could show how your space looks with different lighting and things set up. And if you're going to do it for meetings, you can show this is how this space could be set up for a meeting. So that was something they came back with. And I think it was just some other like little logistical things that weren't really more so relating to my profile, my personal profile, than my actual listing. And so once I corrected those, and I responded back and let them know I corrected it, and I think they gave me like one more thing to do. I did it, and then my profile was up by Monday. So very simple process. The Peerspace consultants, representatives, whoever I was speaking to, very responsive. I appreciated that they gave me feedback of what I could do to make my space more attractive. It definitely made me feel like they want me to be successful on the platform, so I appreciated that a ton. And then I was actually speaking to someone who I know has been on the platform for a long time. And really the site hasn't been around that long, but I think they've been on the platform maybe a year. And they said that Peerspace did something similar to Airbnb, where when Airbnb first started, they actually would send out a professional photographer to take pictures of the host's place, because they realized that the photos that the hosts were taking weren't the most appealing, so they hired professionals to do it. And so Peerspace is something very similar, but I kind of missed the boat on that. But that would have been really nice to have a professional come in from Peerspace and take photos for me. So that's kind of my experience set on my profile. I want to think about, am I kind of covering the basics? Yeah, I would say depending on where you live, check and see how well Peerspace performs in your city. For me, I live in the Metro Atlanta area, and there's a lot of film. There's a lot of creatives here. So there's a lot of people that are looking for spaces. People do independent films, and they may want a space that is low cost. Even in my neighborhood, I live just outside of Atlanta, there are so many films on a daily basis. I'm seeing, large productions. Sometimes I see them like, I guess they're renting out people's homes, and they'll be shooting, kind of blocking off some of the streets. And so there's anything from large scale productions to smaller scale, just independent productions that will be interested in your space. Anyone who's taking photos could be, and they just want a cool location. So I know the Metro Atlanta area is definitely a really great space, and Peerspace has a lot of listings there. It's very active, here in Atlanta. So you can definitely do it here. Now, other cities, I don't know. So check out how the platform is in your city. How many listings are there, how popular it is. And if it's not that popular, maybe you can still list your space there and kind of start to drive the popularity and encourage more people to get on the site and see how it goes. So kind of fast forwarding, so I recently had my first listing a few weeks ago. And so that went really well. I was not actually able to be present. I had a friend of mine who stayed in the space while the folks came in. They opened the door for them, helped show them around, whatever they needed, provided it. They didn't need much, so it was pretty simple. I think they rented 4 hours for me. They only stayed like 2 from what my friend told me. I do have a security system from Simply Safe. And so I was able to, I have a camera set up. So I was actually, because I wasn't at home, I was able to see on my camera from my app on my phone, basically see from my security camera kind of what they were doing in the house, which is also pretty cool. So I would also encourage you, if you're listing your space on Peerspace, go ahead and get some security equipment. If you can get some cameras installed, I definitely recommend Simply Safe. I love their packaging. I love the use of the app. It's pretty inexpensive. I think to buy the first, initial entry level kit, I paid about $260 maybe for that, and then I pay like $25 a month to keep it going. So it's awesome. And if you want to like step into another room while people are using the space, or I know some friends who do it, they live in an apartment, so they'll stay in the general vicinity, but they may step out of their space just to give the folks who are renting it some privacy. And so if they have security cameras, they can check in and kind of like, kind of check what's going on. If you do have cameras, definitely let people know, hey, you're being filmed, just so you're aware. Don't film people without their permission or knowledge. Let them know what you're doing, and you can peek in and make sure everything is everything. And they do provide, Peerspace does provide like an insurance policy and things like that. But if people swipe things or something is broken in the space, you may not realize it until way later, and you may not even know, you may not even be able to track down if it was like from a Peerspace listing, or you just misplaced something, or you just don't know. It can be hard to prove, so it's really good to have cameras. But anyway, got a little off track. So with my first listing, how it went well. They gave me great reviews. They gave me, I think you can give up to 5 stars, so they gave me 5 stars. They were pretty prompt, I believe. I cleaned up the space really well for them. I actually tried to film a vlog of me cleaning up the space and talking about Peerspace and preparing for my first booking, but the footage turned out absolutely terrible, so I'm just going to sit here and talk about it. And I'll have some, video on the side of me somewhere, just showing different parts of the website. So overall, I thought my listing was great. They didn't need much in the space. I'm not exactly sure what they were doing in the space. I know they were taking photos, but it wasn't like a traditional photo shoot, if you will. So they used the space. They left in a timely fashion, left early, didn't need much. It was super easy. My friend, he like works from home, so he was able to just do his work from home stuff. I actually gone, so it was cool. It was very cool. I would definitely recommend the platform to people. Some additional tips I would share are definitely read their blog posts and their community forums. It's a lot of good information in there. They also have some old webinars and stuff that are very informative for tips on how to maximize, your listing, how to get more bookings. One downside to the platform, and I'm sure I have not listed on Airbnb before, I'm sure this happens on Airbnb as well, where people will just start messaging you, acting like they're interested in the space, and you start talking to them, and then they just fall off the face of the earth. So that happens. That's definitely happened to me. I had someone who messaged me and said they were interested in the space, and then they were supposed to come by. Like, we had set up a time for them to come and check out the space, and they just never showed up, and I was like waiting for them, and then I just never heard from them again. So those kind of things happen because it's a little different from Airbnb in the sense that I think most of the time on Airbnb, people don't come, and you don't always, like, very rarely do you go and see the Airbnb before you come to stay. You just go by the pictures. But with Peerspace, most of the time people want to come and see the space, especially if they're local. Now, if they're not local, they might just take the risk. But if they're local, they probably want to come and check out the space and make sure it's suitable for whatever they have going on. So sometimes you get like folks that's just playing. So that's something you got to deal with. Just dealing with folks that are just playing. But it's not too arduous. You're literally messaging them through the app. So, it happens. I think that just kind of comes with the territory. And then I did talk about reading the community forums. Yeah, I think those are all of my tips. Clean up the space, make it look good. I threw, put away any valuables. If you have a safe, put things in your safe. Don't have things that are, of super valuable to you in eyesight where people could swipe it, or leaving those types of things unattended. Don't do it. I know I threw a bunch of stuff in the closet. So if you got to throw stuff in the closet, do what you got to do. You know, my mom always raised me like people are opportunists. So if they see an opportunity to do something and it just seems easy to do it, they may just go ahead and do it. But if it's like they don't see an opportunity, you're not making it easy for them, then they're less inclined to do it. So keep all that in mind. And also just be safe, be safe, be safe, be safe. And if you're having somebody in your space, especially if you're a woman, try to have, you know, somebody else there with you while they're there. Let other people know, let neighbors know if there's someone you trust in the neighborhood. Let them know, just let people know, hey, I'm going to have people over. Try to create some sort of system of safety. If you can get those security cameras or some sort of security system, you definitely want to do that as well. Yes, I think those are all of my tips. That's my experience with the platform. I have not used it as a renter yet. I was going to, and that's actually how I first found out about the platform. I was going to rent out a space for an event I was hosting. So I went and like looked at several places that were on the site and met with some of the folks, and they have really nice places on there. It's a really great website. If you are a creative and you're looking for spaces to do events, to shoot content, to have meetings or whatever, there's so many different kind of spaces. It's really cool. It's real, very, very cool. And you can rent out offices, like co-working type things as well on that site. So it's super cool. I am going to put a link down in the description for you to create your profile and or create your listing. And this link will be, it's kind of like an affiliate link for me. So if you click it, it'll help me out. If you don't want to click it, that's cool too. You can just go right to peerspace.com and check it out and start seeing what spaces are in your area and create a profile for yourself. So if you have any more questions that I didn't cover, I tried to cover everything I could think of in this video, go ahead and comment below and ask any questions you have. If there are a lot of things I realize I didn't cover, I'll do a part 2. If not, I'll just respond to your comment. And thank you so much for watching. Be good to yourself, relax, have fun, and work hard. It's kind of like a paradox, relax and work hard. So thanks so much for watching. Have a good one.